Do you want to put all those numbers in the proclamation or just say?
I don't know if those numbers are correct. I don't know.
Our sorority, there's just, it's kind of like tearing a Band-Aid or a doc right now with some of the districts. Brookings did one like a long time ago. They're not doing.
Well, they've been in it for a while too.
So they're not doing, they're not doing that. With the, oh, the attorney. He's with American, I asked him which wind company he's representing.
American Wind
American
Energy.
Wind. Is that so who he's representing? Morning, Sean. Morning, Natalie. You all fired up and ready? 9 a.m. Good morning, everyone. I will call our weekly meeting of the Codington County Board of Commissioners to order. It is Tuesday, August 11th, 2020. Pledge of Allegiance. We will start back over again with Charlie.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We will continue to allow individuals to do a call-in if they do not feel comfortable coming to the meeting on any issues that are not on the agenda. That is for information only, and that will be handled during the open part of our meeting. The two phone numbers are 882-6248 and 882-6297. Also, we are streaming live on YouTube. And if anyone has a cell phone, if they would please make sure it is silenced. And if you need to take a cough, you could step out and do that. It'd be much appreciated. Item number 3, conflict of interest items. Is there any on the agenda pertaining to any of the commissioners?
Nope.
No.
All right. Item number 4, action to approve the August 11th agenda. Motion by Van Duzen, second by Gable. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. Item number 5, action to approve the minutes of the August 4th, 2020 meeting.
So moved.
Motion by Gable,
Second.
second by Waterman. Any additions, corrections? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. Monthly reports. We'll start with Cindy.
Basically, we are gearing up for getting our ballots ready to go. We're figuring out numbers and how many we need to order for each precinct. We had a Zoom meeting with our election equipment and ballot preparing company last week. They just went over some pointers for us to what to look for when we're ordering ballots. Because the Democratic National Convention has been set back a week, we're already kind of going to be running a week behind. We need to wait and get that. We know who the proposed presidential candidate is, but we don't know who the proposed vice president is, and that has to go on the ballot. So basically, everything is in place, I believe. If anybody wanted to withdraw from the general election, that had been done a week ago today. So then I think the parties are allowed a week to put somebody into that spot. So locally, we don't have any changes. I'm not sure, at the state level, if there's any changes or not. So basically, we are waiting on that Democratic vice presidential candidate before we can get our ballot order going. And they wanted to keep on top of this, so I think we're going to get as much done, prepared ahead of time as we can, and wait for that final candidate before we hit the button to send to our printers. So basically, that's what we're doing. We're also waiting on more information from the state of South Dakota for our centrally assessed properties, so we can finish up our property values and get our levies going. I've received a couple of school budget resolutions. I've got the township tax requests in. And basically, I'm waiting for the small towns, the city of Watertown, and the other schools for property taxes. Otherwise, it is day-to-day stuff. We are seeing a number of people coming in and checking on their voter registrations to make sure they're good to go for the November election.
Just a couple of questions, and you probably mentioned this before. Early voting starts on what day?
It's supposed to start September 18th if we have our ballots in hand. There was a delay in the primary. I think there were some lawsuits that had to be settled. Hopefully there's nothing like that for the general election. There are 3 ballot questions that will be on the ballot this year, and then the candidates.
Very good. Anyone else have any questions?
We have sounds like we have a very sparse ballot for the general election then.
Well, I know we've got some local legislative candidates. We've got a county commissioner race. We've got the presidential candidates, and 3 ballot issues is sparse, to tell you the truth. We're happy that we're going to be able to get the ballot on an 8.5 by 14 size of paper this year. Was it 2 years ago or 4 years ago? We had a huge ballot that we had to order oversized envelopes for the absentee, and they do not handle as well as just a normal 8.5 by 14 ballot. So that's good news.
Right, especially with all those that you'll be automatically mailing out because
Yes.
of the box that was
Yeah.
checked. So,
So that's why we need the rush to get these ballots in our hands so we can get those prepared, because by federal law, they have to be in the mail on the 18th of September. I do need to notify the mailing service too of the big rush, the big
on it.
crush, whatever. Yeah.
All right, very good. Anyone else have any questions for Cindy? If not, we'll move on then to Director of Equalization report with Shauna. Good morning, Shauna.
Where's Shauna?
We are just working on our day-to-day things, also going through sales. We did send in May and June sales to Department of Revenue for their review, and the appraisers are continuing to look at the photometry pictures compared to our previous reappraisals and see if they're finding any discrepancies there. And that's pretty much what we're doing right now.
Good.
Very good. All those new decks that maybe went on that are going to pop up.
Basically, if we have building permits for them, we'll wait and go. We're picking up a few building permits along the way, but a lot of buildings that had been torn down, and then some new stuff that was put up that,
Just didn't realize
just-
or didn't
yep.
get them.
so
All right.
that's all I got.
Thank you.
Anyone else
Thanks,
have any
Shauna.
questions? Thanks, Shauna.
Short and sweet, quick and easy.
Very good. Budget review. Cindy, should we do that now? Just go through some of the nonprofits, or do you want to wait?
Let's wait till the end of the meeting. Yeah. Yep.
All right.
It'll be
Item-
fast.
All righty. Item number 7, action to approve the auditor's account with treasurer and note monthly register deeds fees.
The monthly registered deeds fees are in the amount of $41,261.95. And then you have the auditor's cash and cash items that were on hand as of the last business day of July. The second page shows you the cash fund balances in the general funds, special revenue funds, the trust and agency funds, which is basically just pass-through money. That's about all there is to it. We're sending out this month, it's a slow tax collection month, so we are sending out approximately $300,000 to, maybe a little more than $300,000 to the cities, the schools, and the townships that we collect property tax for this month, which is a slow month. July is not a huge tax collection month.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Oh, boy. All right, motion by Van Duzen, second by Johnson.
Yep.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, that motion carries. Item number 8, action to approve the tax deed sale held August 4th, 2020, and issue quitclaim deeds to the successful bidders.
So the successful bidders for the 2 pieces of property that we sold, we have prepared quitclaim deeds in their names. The first one is Ronald Babb and Linda Babb that purchased one of the pieces in Wallace that went for $3,025. The second piece in Wallace was purchased by Ag Works Cooperative for $50. And we just need to approve those sales and authorize Brenda to sign the quitclaim
Move
deeds.
to approve.
Do they need to be separate or can they be
No, together.
Okay, motion by Johnson, second by Gable. All right, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. Item number 9, action to approve the replacement resolution for CARES Act funding. And Cindy, you
We'll
talked
skip that again because I haven't heard
Still.
that we need to take care of anything for that yet, so.
All right. Item number 10, action to approve a letter of contract for Hall Road evaluation services with Banner Associates, and that would be Rick. So if he would want to come up and explain that to us, that would be good. Morning, Rick.
Good morning.
Morning, Rick.
Morning again, Rick.
Morning. This is just addition to the Hall Road. So Banner can do a Hall Road assessment. Dakota Range project, which is in the north end of the county, want to use County Road 11, which is Old 81 from Conag going north up to Highway 20. So this was not on the original Hall Road plan, so this had to be added on.
What does that entail for them? They're going to go out and,
They hire geotech, they do borings, they look at the
Okay.
culverts, assess the road, what kind of shape it's in. Same thing that they did on County Road 3 south of South Shore and all the way down to the county line. So
I think it'd be good for the taxpayers to know that the bid is $8,000 a mile. $8,000 a mile, just think 5 miles, that's $40,000. And then after it's done, they'll come back and reassess it.
yes,
It's another $40,000. So it's $80,000 for just engineering fees that will be paid to Banner Associates. I mean, just
yep.
to ensure that our
And
roads
Dakota
are
Range
maintained.
pays this, we
Yeah.
pay for it and then Dakota Range
Yeah.
pays us
Reimburse.
back. So we're reimbursed, so.
Right, but I think the taxpayers need to understand that. I think they just think that we let the people just run wild on these roads.
Well,
And sometimes they need to
Yes.
know that we are taking precautions to be sure that the roads are being considered and watched.
I would ask for a motion and a second so we can have further discussion.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Gable, second by Van Duzen. Okay, any other discussion about that? That's the point I was going to make, that this is something that we pay, but they have agreed to reimburse us for those fees.
Yes,
And if any of you have driven up into that area, I live right there. County Road 11 is getting beat up pretty bad.
yes, it is.
From Conag, at least the first 2-3 miles south,
Yeah, the first 2 miles
they're
down
tough.
to County Road 6.
Yeah, they're getting beat up pretty bad.
There was a lot of material that Next Era hauled from Conag down to County
Yeah.
Road 6 and then east. Last year, they went north on County
Yeah.
Road 3 to the batch plant. This year, they went to the interstate and went south
Yeah.
over, and then took 212 over to Kransburg and worked on County Road 1.
And when we say there's quite a bit of traffic, I know people think that I'm crazy, but there's, by noon, some days there's 100 semis go by my place.
Why?
It's, and they're pulling, they're full semis pulling a full pup.
Yes,
So it's a lot of stuff, a lot of material going by there.
On that note, have they filled in those holes? They weren't able to get asphalt until, or maybe that hasn't happened yet.
I talked to them the other day and they were supposed to get asphalt this week. That's not gonna happen. It'll be close to the end
Oh,
of the
wow.
month, the first part of September now.
Wow.
The contractor that they had hired is behind.
Hmm.
So And it's one of those deals that how much do you do, you know, because it's going to be a temporary patch,
Right.
you know, so.
I'm just worried that we're going to get so late into the year that if if they have to keep putting this off, that
Mhm.
before we know it, we're going to be into the winter months.
Yep, and Banner is just about done with the Crown Ridge one.
Mhm.
So, did I say Banner or?
You said Banner.
Sorry, Blattner is almost done with Crown Ridge one. So hopefully Banner can get in there and do a haul road assessment, so we can start figuring out what needs to be done to get things taken care of before winter sets in.
Yeah.
So.
And that'll probably be temporary because probably it's gonna be a major thing that will take a good
Yes,
share of time next
there's some
year.
significant damage done to our blacktop roads up there, so.
But at least get us limping by through the winter months, so.
Where do they get the asphalt from?
They were talking about getting it from, Big Stone, Bituminous,
Right.
so.
I'm
That's who they-
just
that's who they were dealing
concerned
with.
that we're, a month from now, we're gonna start freezing.
Yeah.
And if
A
you
month
can-
from now, we'll start freezing.
I hope not.
Well, we
Let's
might,
write that
we
down.
might get a frost, but let's
Put
not
that-
get the ground that hard yet.
Put
No,
that-
it won't, but
Yes,
it's,
yeah.
but
Put that in the
Colder
paper and
weather
tell
is
Nicole. All right.
you can worry about it. for me.
All right. Well, keep us back on track. Any more discussion about the Hall Road evaluation services? We ready to vote? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
Next week, I will have the plans for the grade raise west of Compesca Lodge. So they're working on that this week to get everything together. And I've talked to them, and they should have a meeting with them this week to look at the plans and go from there. This was something that we approved earlier this spring to get that done. So
Sounds good. All right. We'll be looking for that then.
all right,
It's out of the water.
what's that?
Is it out of the water?
Partially, there's still some holes, big holes in it. All the riprap is one side. It's been a while since I drove down there because
Mhm.
one side was partially out. Some of the riprap, the other side was still submerged under the water. So it does no good when there's a wind. It
Yeah.
just, but the road is still closed. So,
Mhm.
Very good.
all
All
right.
right. Thanks,
Thank
Rick.
you.
Thanks, Rick.
Item number 11, action to accept a quote for managed IT services. Lee, I think I'll let you explain.
Yeah, okay. So we, probably a little over a month ago, we talked with, we've been talking about managed IT services versus hiring an IT professional. And the sheriff's office went ahead and did it in the meantime. So the sheriff had budgeted for it. And so he went ahead and signed on with Connecting Point for the managed IT services. So that basically gets you IT, pretty much your help desk, as well as all the monitoring that goes with the virus protection and assistance if something bad happens, like a crash or a malware attack or a ransomware attack. So we had another discussion with Connecting Point. And so for the rest of the offices in the county, that quote is in your packet. The monthly fee would be $3,620 for this. We talked to them about the fees, the onboarding fees, and they just, because we've been paying on a hardware contract for some time that really didn't, it really didn't seem to be that necessary. We used it a few times, but they kind of compensated us for the fact that we've been paying for this warranty, and turned out that the way hardware works, people just tend to buy new computers every few years as opposed to really trying to warrant them for the long, for say 10 years or something. So the onboarding fee, they're willing to waive that. That's $3,620. That's basically the cost of a month. And then add in a network and security assessment, which I think would be a really good thing. So that's to take, SuperNet's look at everything we have and look at all the bits and pieces of our IT setup, because over time we've kind of, it's kind of just grown on its own as we've needed this or that, as opposed to a more deliberate look at everything. So now the one issue about this though is we didn't budget for it for this year. So it would have to be, I think we'd have to be looking at commissioner's contingency. And so if we wanted to start this to do, say, the last 4 months of the year, starting in September, starting next month, the cost I come up with, just, you know, that monthly fee times 4 is $14,480. And I'd have to ask, can you say how much we have left in commissioner's contingency, Cindy?
Yeah. I don't know that we've used any of it, to tell you the truth.
And then just the annual fee while she's doing that would end up being.
Yeah, we have $250,000. We have not had to supplement anything. Doesn't mean that we won't in the future, but
Yeah, court-appointed attorneys, that kind of.
very,
thing is
and
pretty likely.
catastrophic legal.
So, you know, my motion, so I'll make a motion that we accept this quote, starting in September. And then and of course, that means that, you know, we'd have to, probably look at commissioner's contingency, pay for it for this year, and then we'd have to budget it for next year.
So we're looking at about $43,000 a year
Yeah.
for this service.
Yeah.
A 3-year contract comes out to $130,000.
Yeah, I know there's not a second, so it's not up for discussion yet, but
So we have a motion. Yeah, do we
Yes,
have
that's my
this?
motion.
Lee made the motion. Do I have a second to this?
I'll second.
Second by Van
Purpose of
Dusen. So
discussion.
now we can have,
I've been talking to some of our department heads. And there's other than a hard fact and nuts and bolts, they feel that we would be better off served if we had an in-house IT person, be more efficient and probably be more subject to finding ways to do things better, a little bit better, tweaking things. I know it's more money, but I personally, and after taking the input from several of our appointed department heads, and one person that used to work in an IT department over in the auditor's office, the unanimous conclusion was that would be better for the county to have an in-house person.
Sure.
And I realize that it's going to be more money without a doubt.
Yeah, so. yeah,
You talked to somebody from the auditor's office?
Excuse me, I'm not,
Equalization.
register of deeds.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry,
Okay.
wrong department.
Okay, I was gonna say, okay.
Yeah.
I did not talk to
Okay.
anybody from your department, Cindy.
All right, thank
Can
you.
I, do you mind if I address that, Madam Chair? So I think that is a viable option. It's just, there are a number of factors to weigh in that. Cost is one of them, and you mentioned that, and it would cost more. So we're looking at something like, you know, on the $100,000 just with all that, you know, these folks are kind of, they're not cheap. The other thing about them is they do take vacations. And so that's the monitoring of the security threats. That's something that this comes with. So this is back in Connecting Point's office. They're looking at stuff. They're watching all of our systems. And so that's probably the big thing, you know, that's kind of the big insurance policy that you get. Then I understand it's nice to have a person on staff that you can just work, you know, a very specific issue with, and that there are advantages to that. I'd be able to not ask Natalie to run the Zoom meeting. So, so that kind of thing. But
And I understand, Lee, that you're very technically minded, and that's appreciated. I really think there would be the flexibility and there's that, just a blending of just making it work better. This is an intangible, having an in-house person that we can't even put a price on.
Madam Chair.
yes.
I've looked at that too, Charlie. The city of Watertown has an IT department. I've looked into that as well. And I believe that this proposal is the way to go, simply because, as Commissioner Gable said, those people might be gone. We may have an IT issue that results in us having to contract out for services during a period of time that they're gone on vacation or whatever. If we were to hire an IT person, I would say that we probably wouldn't get by any less than probably $55,000 to $60,000 in our annual cost. I'm guessing probably
We'd be lucky to get it
without
at that.
benefits. And over a 3-year period, that's $180,000 versus a 3-year contract that would come in at $130,000. So, you're talking a lot less money, but you're also talking about 24-hour protection and somebody that's a call away if there is a problem.
Yeah.
So
My question to you, Troy, and you're familiar with the cities and other people here might be also. What does the city do? The city has one IT person, right?
no, the city has an IT department. They have
An IT
3.
Okay.
Mhm. So they have an IT supervisor and then they have two people that are out working in the field.
Okay, so
And
covered
they're spread
24/7.
amongst all the departments in the city. So Park and Rec, the police department, the fire department, if there's any IT issues, then they're addressing that. I'm not sure that having a full-time IT person on staff here would be beneficial for our setup, because I don't know that there would be enough for that person to keep them occupied for 40 hours a week, just doing IT stuff. Maybe initially, once the system's in place, hopefully it would be able to maintain itself pretty reliably. This is an insurance policy for the county. This is something that we haven't had in place, and I think it would be money well spent. Would like to see it budgeted. I would like to not see it come out of.
We can still budget
We
this
can
for
Commissioner.
2021.
Okay,
Yeah, this year, it
Yeah.
may need a supplement,
So-
but that's to be determined at the end of the year.
so I think it's a good insurance policy, and I will support it.
I had a question for Lee. What did you say that we added on that you thought was a good idea?
Oh, at the bottom there, so at the bottom of the quote, there's a network and security assessment. So they're doing that for free, basically. So that's that $1,995. And that's where they'll go through.
You said they're doing it for free, but there's a bill here for
Well, they're not
$19.95.
counting it in the total.
Oh,
It's not
So
included.
that's not.
okay, it's not in the total. Okay.
There's a little line there that says the waived fee.
And the onboarding is not
Yeah, so the
included.
two
Okay.
one-time fees are waived, and that's in consideration of the fact that we had a hardware warranty with them. 3 of our offices did. And in the end, we just didn't have to use it that much.
No.
So we didn't, I thought,
They're
I thought they were being
reimbursing us back,
yeah,
actually.
so they're kind of giving us, they're giving us a break,
Mhm.
basically, based upon that, so.
Okay, Lee, I just have a question
Sure.
here. So the offices are included for physical host, County 2. Who is that over at that's in the second paragraph under monthly. I'm just wondering if all the rest
Those are
of it,
servers.
That's a piece of
Those are the
equipment.
2 servers in my back office. The
And then-
Director of Equalization has a server and the state's attorney has a
So,
server.
so there's 4 total, 2 over there, 1 over there, and 1 downstairs is what they're
Okay.
saying, so.
but we're only listing the auditor, registered deeds and treasurer. Like, are all the offices going to be under this?
Yes, the sheriff is already,
Yeah. he
so
is.
this would be everybody else,
Okay.
so.
I know-
The Sheriff's
across-
office has it in their budget already,
It looks
so
like there
they,
must be something missing because.
so they,
Because I
pay
don't see
their
the
own portion.
veterans, I don't see the veterans office, the welfare office, state's attorney. I mean, they have them that
State's
they're going to
attorney is-
have the
Right.
host or
For
the servers.
PCs,
If you-
for PCs, they have nothing listed. So I
You-
think it looks like something got cut off here.
Maybe we should then go back to, I mean, we can go back.
Just want to make sure everybody's in
Yeah.
there, that they're including all of the offices, because I only
Well-
see the 3. but-
Okay, here is an email that I received that lists all PCs in all
Okay.
the offices. So I
I
do
am-
have
That's,
that
yeah,
in
the
an
attached
email,
email.
but it
I do
looks like
too.
there wasn't room on this quote
Okay.
to list all those.
Just want to make sure that.
Yeah,
they
it's
do have
got
them also.
the auditor, register of deeds, treasurer, veteran service, welfare, state's attorney, director of equalization, maintenance, weed and pest, highway department, extension.
Very good. That's,
So-
just want to make sure they're all on there. Okay.
Do we have to tie into a 3-year contract?
I don't know.
I don't see that on here.
I don't see
Yeah.
It
anything
says
on
it's
there.
a standard 3-year contract, but most of those, if you give them a certain amount of time or whatever, I was looking for that as well.
I was wondering if we
I'm not-
could opt out, if it's not working, if we could get out of it after a year or whatever.
I realize it's been talked about before and it's been an ongoing thing.
No.
What's the thought pattern on starting it before the end of the year? How necessary is it? Or is it something that could wait until
I would
we
say
get
it's
the new
critical.
budget?
Hmm.
Pardon?
I would say it's critical. I mean, we could be attacked by ransomware today.
Yep.
It's
It's
just,
proactive.
We might as well not kick it down the
Yeah,
road anymore.
yeah.
We have
We've
them
got
for,
There's no sense of
Contingency
taking a
funds.
chance,
to answer your,
especially with an election coming up and,
yeah,
Okay.
to answer your, yeah, so it's basically, just like insurance, it's a risk.
Mhm.
You're just assuming more risk. So that, part of it is the nuts and bolts of doing the IT services, but part of it is the risk management tool of having those services when needed to recover if something happens. So,
right? And I don't think it's something that we're going to want to get out of once
No.
we get into it, just for that very simple.
I haven't had my question answered yet. Is there any way we can get out of it? How do we get out of it?
What if maybe we don't want to?
No, sure.
No,
Maybe
no.
we don't want to. I'm not saying we aren't going to
You're asking
have
if-
to do something in the future, but Myron brought a good point up. When you go into something like this, it's more important to get what's the deal for getting out? Getting out is more important. It's easier to get in than it is to get out.
Myron, I would guess by the verbiage in this that it's a standard 3-year contract. That standard 3-year contract is what helps determine the price of
to
this
some
plan.
extent, yes.
We're
So
locked in.
if you're going to lock in for 1 year, it's probably going to be more. That would be my guess. So I would say with the 3-year contract, you're pretty much committed to 3 years.
Does it say that? Did it say that in there?
Yeah, it says
Standard
standard.
3-year contract.
So it would
So-
be 3 years if we would start this in September, it'd be 3 years from September.
Yes, that's my understanding. That would make sense.
To me, it's an insurance policy. I can't believe that the county does not have a contract with IT representatives to protect our county.
we do have
System.
services, but not, I mean, we have protection, but it's not in such a compact
Right.
agreement. Let's
Okay.
put it that way.
All right.
All right, any other discussion, or are we ready to vote? Maybe we need to call a roll call on this one, I think.
Gable,
Aye.
Waterman,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Van Duzen,
Aye.
Hanton.
Aye. All right, that motion carries. We will move on then to item number 12, action to approve monthly cell phone stipend for the maintenance employees. Cindy,
I also received a stipend request from the sheriff for a part-time deputy who is being promoted to full-time. The cell phone stipends requested by the facilities manager are for Ron Hartley, who is our temporary 1-year hire, Steve Stalkey, who is the new hire for maintenance at the
detention.
detention center. Another gentleman who is starting September 1st to fill the vacancy we have here at the courthouse. And then Shane Yost is the deputy sheriff. The facility manager's requests are $25 a month, and the sheriff's request for the deputy is $40 a month. I will need to have you, I didn't get a lot of instructions on when these should be effective. The sheriff wants his employee effective August 1st, because that is when he went to full-time. The facilities manager requested September 1st on 2 of his cell phone stipends, and then the third one, he requested it go back to July because the employee has worked for us since that time. So I'll need some direction on where you want these effective dates. The sheriff's one seems logical to go August 1st because he did go to full-time August 1st. Two of them start September 1st. Those are pretty clear cut. The other one, he's asking to go back to July.
And that was a maintenance guy?
That was a facilities employee, yes.
I'll make a motion to do it to approve this as requested.
Okay.
We have a motion by Gable. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Van Duzen. Any discussion on that?
I know that we had talked about looking at that, I don't know if it's a, what do we have? Is it a policy?
We don't have a policy. It's just on a case-by-case basis.
Maybe it's time for us to take a look at
Yeah.
developing a policy.
We've talked about that actually. Maybe with Natalie's help, we can kind of review that and.
Yeah, Natalie can do anything.
I think that's something that we need to look at
Her list
and,
is getting about-
and have it available before the first of the year. So we can.
That is the first meeting of the year is where you're supposed to take action
Right.
for each employee that's getting a stipend. And so we have a record of it.
That's my thoughts on it.
I agree.
I agree.
All right.
So this would
Um,
just, these numbers that you mentioned this morning would be just until the first of the year, and there might be.
Then they have to be renewed. Yep.
Okay.
All right, we ready to vote? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. Item number 13, action, possible discussion on COVID-19 practices, procedures, and policy. Natalie has done some updating in our personnel policy that was sent out. Would you want to come up and maybe explain it? And that's something we could probably address today. I think we're ready to add this in.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Natalie?
This came up probably a couple weeks ago because there was some concerns about employees. There was two different things.
Can you just identify yourself, please?
Yes, sorry. Natalie Raymond, Multi-Business
HR.
Solutions, HR consultant.
Thank you.
Thank you. So there's some questions a couple weeks ago. Two things had come up and it came to Cindy's office initially. And it was one regarding a county employee that had contracted COVID-19 and how the rest of the staff should handle that. And then the other thing that had come up was somebody that had traveled and traveled out
These
of
are
state.
What ifs? These are what ifs.
It was a potential
yeah.
contracting, and it was found out the employee
Yes.
did not have it.
Yes, the employee had traveled, but did not have, yes.
And the one that was being tested was negative. It was something else.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we took a look at the policy that was originally put into place in April and wondered if we should just be a little bit more definitive on what to do and provide specific instructions. So I worked with Jamie, and then Cindy did assist as well. And so what you have in front of you is what we put together. And feel free to ask questions or make changes, or what do you think?
What changes were made?
Everything in the blue. Maybe yours is not colored. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's an insertion into the personnel policy handbook,
Yes.
or the personnel handbook. The only thing, I think the text is fine. Do we want to just maybe append this to this provisional policy that we've been kind of maintaining for COVID that goes with all the sick leave? And the only thing is, my only question is, where do we put it? Do we want
The
to?
very first page kind of
Yeah.
shows you where it's going to go.
So we put it in where it is now in the handbook and just revised that section.
So that's in the it's already in the handbook, and yeah, we revised that section.
Where do we, is that where the provisional stuff that we've been approving is? Okay,
Yes.
all right. I'll
Yep.
make a motion
Yep.
to approve this then, to approve these changes or amend as proposed.
Second.
All right, we got a first and a motion and a second.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
No, I just appreciate Natalie's
Yes.
writing this up. It's very nice and clear. Gives you, what if this, what if that, it's nice.
Situations where
Yeah.
we could be exposed and how to handle it. We do
Yeah.
have, and Natalie also prepared a employee temperature tracking form for those who have possible exposure, and the steps on how to use it are within the policy.
So that's like, in that particular, this paragraph here on the screen, employees in close contact with a positive test. So like if somebody in your office tests and then this is how you monitor the rest of the people in the office.
Yes.
So you can still stay, keep
Yep.
working, but be careful.
Yeah, since you're essential services and the need to stay
Yeah.
open.
Yeah.
I
So
appreciate
it's-
Natalie doing this as well, and at least this gives direction. It's going to be treated the same across the whole county. So that's important that everybody's on the same page. All right. So a motion, a second, any other discussion? Ready to vote? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
Thank you.
Once again, thank you, Natalie. Item number 14, action to approve automatic budget supplements.
I have one of those in the amount of $3,000, and it's an emergency management reimbursement for HMEP training. We paid the bill in February, it looks like. And we've been reimbursed by the state. We can now supplement the emergency management budget with that amount.
So moved.
Motion by Gable,
Second.
second by Waterman. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Action to approve personnel changes.
Well, I have a big miss here on somehow my
Oh, yeah,
claims.
your claims is not.
Action to approve claims has disappeared from the agenda. It's on there every week. I think when I put the COVID back on,
You took that out.
I inadvertently took that out. It's a standing item. We do need to approve claims for payment.
Well, it's something, we gotta pay the bills, so I guess we can put it on as an emergency sort of thing or whatever. Just-
It is
So
a
we get it
standard,
done.
it is a standard thing, yeah.
So we'll go through those then. We'll
And
just do the
I
claims.
have sent the claims out to everybody.
Is that, want to do that now?
Yeah.
So I can-
15A, huh?
So is there any things you want to,
Yeah, there are not a lot of things, but I did notice, when we were talking about supplementing the budget, our third quarter, on page 3, our third quarter catastrophic legal payment was due. We did not budget enough to pay that quarterly amount for that pool, so we may have to supplement catastrophic legal, and that's based on the claims that the pool has paid out. On page 4, our final payment for the fire system, or the sprinkler system is being paid out. That's the amount that we retained until the project was done. Also on that page is the $3,000 that we pay annually to the Watertown Parks and Recreation for our offices that are located in the city auditorium. Also on that page in the Director of Equalization budget is a claim to the Watertown City Finance Office. That's for our share of the pictometry project, is $36,681. I think those are the only items that, there is, on page 9 in the Memorial Park budget, there's a claim for $15,204, and that was for the seal coating of one of the roads out at Memorial Park that was budgeted for.
that was a project that got put off from last year, I believe. and
Right,
Rolled
yep.
over.
On the very last page is just pass-through money that comes to us from the state fire marshal that we pay out to all the fire departments in Codington County. And the payments to the fire departments are based half on their census of the townships that they cover, and the other half of it is based on the taxable value of the township, within the townships that they cover. So you can see the city of Watertown gets a large chunk of that, $115,000. We pay the Florence Fire Department, Henry, South Shore, Wallace, and Watertown. So the pass-through bills that are basically not county bills, just over $809,000 this month. County bills just over $385,000, which is typical for August. It's kind of a low bill paying month. And I will get that back on the agenda.
Heard
Move to
Sid-
approve.
Motion by Johnson,
Second.
second by Gable. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. All right, item number 15, then action to approve.
Madam Chair, do we need to declare that an emergency?
I don't think so. It's a
Okay,
standard
that's a
monthly
standard. Okay.
item that just,
I just missed it. Okay. On the
it's
agenda.
not out of the ordinary. I would say no.
Okay, item number 15, action to approve personnel changes.
Personnel changes. I have 3 of those. First one is Betty Overly. She is a clerk in the treasurer's office. She's due an anniversary step increase to $20.69 per hour effective August 15th. Brian Bleeker is building maintenance here at the courthouse. He's due a step increase to step 12, $20.09 per month due August 1st. And James Hedges is the maintenance at the Extension Center complex. He's due a step increase to step 7. The effective date is September 1st.
Move to approve.
Motion by Gable, second by Waterman. Any discussion? Hearing none.
Whoa, 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 I got here, James Hedges. Is this the same?
Yes.
It's the same guy.
Yes,
He was by Gordy?
yes,
Okay.
Gordy, yes.
That's what I thought it was, but I
It-
just wanted to check.
James Gordy, yep.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, that motion carries. Travel request, item number 16.
I have 2 of those that I just received yesterday, so I laid them on your desks, because the travel is for next week. Let's see.
James and Sherry.
Yeah, it's for the Emergency Management Office to travel to Sioux Falls for ICS training debris management classes. They will be traveling back and forth each day. They will not be staying down there, and they will be using a county vehicle.
Move to approve.
Motion by Gable,
Second?
second by Van Duzen. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. Number 17, does anyone have any public notices where there could be a quorum?
Well, there won't be a quorum, but it does sound like the South Dakota County Convention will be going on, so Brenda and Lee will be there September
14th and
14th and
15th.
15th.
Cindy will, some of our department heads will be there as well,
Yes.
so.
Yep,
Madam Chair, I was going to mention it under new business, but I can mention it now. Just the Behavioral Health and Justice Working Group scheduled a meeting on the 28th of August at 2 in this room. It'll be part in person, part Zoom. So, and then we're dealing with a lot of busy people, so we'll see how many we can get together. A couple things to talk about for that, so.
Very good.
So you could possibly have a quorum there. So.
Right. So we can put that on in coming weeks on the agenda. Item number 18, old business. Anyone have any old? How about 19? Any new business?
I just wanted to touch on what the key agenda items for that Behavioral Health and Justice Working Group, so that people might know it as a Stepping Up initiative group. One is the e-care thing that we mentioned last week. So that's just something that crowd needs to be aware of, because that factors into the whole thing about keeping mentally ill people out of the jail if you don't need to take them there. So that crowd needs to be aware of that. And then also we haven't met for a while, so relooking at all the people involved and making sure that our heads are collectively put together as we talk about the issues involved with mental illness and the justice system. So.
Very good. Anyone have anything for the open?
I have a question, kind of a follow-up to this. You know, I was out, I just happened to be driving by Serenity Hills the other day, and I was thinking about that program. I don't even know what the name of it is, where we're supposedly helping some people coming, especially that are in drug court.
Transitional housing, the brothers, sisters behind
Yeah,
bars.
that housing assistance program. Is there anybody in it?
At the
Is there anybody
present,
using it? How's that going?
it's
what's the name
going
of it?
well. It's brothers and sisters behind bars, basically. And they are still using that, and there is an individual that is managing it, basically, and that is being funded by ICAP. So, and it's under
But is
15 hours a
anybody,
week.
is there anybody using it? Is it being
Um,
used?
I guess I'll check to make sure, but as far as I know, there is, because she still every week is meeting with people. So I'll find out what that number is though and let you know next week.
My impression is that it's kind of it's not a big number, but it's kind of a steady
Yeah,
flow, you know,
It just
many of
varies.
these are very, challenging situations. That's why,
Mhm.
is it Amy at ICAP that
Yes.
does it? So,
Yep, she's the manager
yeah.
for them, or like the housing manager. Helps them get things in place so that as they move forward, that they're ready to go. So, yeah. All right. Anything else? We will go through those nonprofit budget
Mhm.
items. Anyone else have anything for the open that you can think of? We'll move into
Okay.
the.
I think you have a
nonprofit.
tab in your binders. I'm not sure what it's called. Is it
Other.
mandates?
Other.
Mandates
And
and
non-mandates. Nonprofits.
nonprofits and non-mandates, okay.
It's right at the very beginning.
Yeah, let's start at the beginning. You'll have to
Election.
tell me, okay, the election budget, all right.
Mandates.
It's under mandates, the election one is the very first one.
First tab.
Page number 3.
Yes, all right, so, next year is typically not our election year, but we always do budget something in the case of a special election. So there's a minimal amount in there of $25,600. Hopefully, we will not be required to spend any of that. This is also an opportunity for me to look over my election equipment, make sure I have everything that I need, and maybe buy some supplies in the off years, so. Judicial systems, what's next? Okay, these are items for like the clerk of court's office, or if we need to provide something for jurors, equipment for the jury rooms, things like that, witness fees, postage for the clerk, for the courts, which we do get reimbursed for each month. The budget for current year is $90,000, and I left that at 90,000 based on the prior years.
You don't know what's coming.
We have no idea we don't have no idea what's coming. Are we going to have jury trials? Yeah, we don't know. It's kind of a just in case. So I believe that is a sufficient amount for that. You'll have to tell me which one is next here.
Collection agency.
Collection agency, okay, that is based on the amounts that the collection agency collects for us each year. Okay, I can find this. Let's see, what's the number on that, 149? Okay. All right. And I left that at $30,000. It seems like that's about, they've been collecting in the $25,000 range for us each year, which is good. This is money that we would never be able to collect on our own.
This is about what we take in through the collection
Right,
agency, not
it's a
fees
wash.
for
It's-
the collection.
Right,
agency.
right. It's a wash. It's wash. They collect the money for us. We pay them a 27% percentage, and we get money that we never would probably see, so.
this is actually, this is only, like, you're only budgeting for 27% of what you're collecting.
Right,
So
right.
So roughly it costs us $10,000 to collect the 30.
Yes, yeah, basically.
So we
Yep.
net $20,000 ahead.
And, if we have had to supplement this before because they collected more for us than we anticipated, so that's always a good thing.
Public defender.
Public defender, this is based strictly on the contracts that we have in place with the primary and secondary public defenders. And it increases a little bit every year, so I increased this from 300,000 to 310, and that should cover it based on the contracts that we currently have signed.
Is that a 2 or 3 year contract?
I think it's
4?
5.
Well, 5 year.
Very possible 5. I'll have to
I know
look.
it's it's a multiple year one.
Yes, it is a multiple year one, yeah. I'll have to look and make sure, but it's at least 4 to 5 years.
And we're only about 2 years into it. This is
I
a
think so.
relatively new one, yeah.
I believe you're right. Court appointed attorney, this is another one that, we just you can see it's jumped all over the place. In 2017, we spent 114,000. 2018, we spent 148,000. 2019, we spent 170,000. The budget for this year is 200,000, and we are well on our way to spending every penny of that. So I did increase that by $50,000. Hopefully, we won't need it.
Is there any way that we can reach out to the other counties and you know, I've had visits with some of the other counties and they say, when I tell them about our budget for, they say, holy cow, you know, they hardly have anything, you know.
Well,
And
that's
there's-
because they're a smaller county. They don't have as
Yeah.
much crime, I guess.
But I guess, you know, use counties that are relatively the same size of ours, see what they're doing, see if there's any, you know, I'm not saying that there's a magic bullet out there or something, but is there something that we could do to reduce that or to control it, I guess?
That's the legal catastrophic pool that we are a part of. If we have a claim over $25,000, we can submit it to
Right.
legal catastrophic to get some kind of reimbursement. Problem is, very few of our claims get that high, but we do have numerous
And yet our
court-appointed
legal
attorneys.
catastrophic, we had to supplement that. I mean,
Yeah, we will, yeah.
That's gonna go, that keeps going up on us too.
It
I
is.
just think we need to start to just draw some lines here, just say, why are we, is there something going on in these other counties that we're missing out on? Or what are we doing that, are we,
It's
Is
based
it our
on,
judges?
it's based on the number of defendants we have that apply for court-appointed attorneys.
Is a city, which listening to this brought up a thought pattern, is being we house prisoners from other counties
Mhm.
and they're go to court over here, do we pay that fee?
No. Their defense is provided by the county from where the arrest took place.
Okay.
So
So-
no, we are not
And some,
on the hook for that.
sometimes those sheriffs have to come and get the guys and take them back to their county. and be
Well, I
charged.
was hoping it would
Yes,
be that
yeah,
way. but-
no,
Yeah.
no, it's wherever the arrest took place is where the county
Yeah.
is responsible for the attorney fees.
So
So
the
what we
defendant
need
will
to
have,
do is take these people that are breaking the law and drive them to Dual County or Hamlin and then arrest them.
no, what happens is,
You can't do that.
Madam Chair.
Can't do that, huh?
yes,
Can I just say, just to make a couple points about this. Number one is, if it weren't for clerk, this would be even higher.
Yeah.
And
If it
so
wasn't for what?
clerk, the catastrophic legal expense relief
Oh.
program, that if it weren't for that, this would be even higher.
we have taken advantage of that a number of times in high-profile
Yeah.
cases.
And if you-
Murder case or something.
Yes,
Yeah.
high-profile, yes.
And the other point is, if you just look at the caseloads in, this county versus neighboring counties, I mean, our neighbors are very sparsely populated compared to
Yeah.
Cottington County. And so it's just a function of the population for the most part, and the fact that we have a little bit of a micro urban kind of setup in Watertown. So, I mean, that's just kind of a fact of life. When you have cities and then more population, you're going to have
You're correct.
more court stuff going on.
Well, and what you mentioned, sparsely populated, we have the densely populated area right here in Watertown. It's not in Wallace, it's not in Henry, et cetera. So therefore, it's,
And then to finish off on what Commissioner Waterman was asking about. So when somebody is arrested in another county, they use our jail perhaps, or maybe they don't need to use the jail for this particular thing, but the Constitution says that the person has the right to be tried in the jurisdiction wherever they were arrested and accused. So sometimes they'll say, yeah, I can just do my trial here so that my sheriff doesn't have to transport back and forth, but that county still covers the expense of those trials. So,
So does the state judicial system have an idea what's going on? Do they understand, or have they been told that, like our county, our court-appointed attorneys and so on keeps escalating at a rate that we don't think is
yeah, I don't,
acceptable?
I don't,
So
I don't-
maybe there's something that they could do to even out supplement us some way or somehow.
Well, I think it's a constitutional right to have representation, and I think that
Yes.
falls back on the
Yeah,
county
that's true.
The only
if the defendant
thing,
can't afford to pay that cost.
the thing that
I know
I've
what
thought
you're doing.
about possibly doing is having more of your public defenders, because sometimes what happens with these court-appointed attorneys is because with public defender, there's a conflict of interest. So then we have to
Tertiary, yeah.
go with another public, or one of the other attorneys, and that their costs. So if we would contract with more of those attorneys in those sort of instances, that might.
We can, that's one idea. I think just, so right now we have a primary and a secondary. We could have a tertiary or, a third place person too. I mean, you could look at that. The thing is when you do that, then you have to pay that fee.
Yeah. true.
So, but then on the other hand, so it might be worth looking at to see if we could pencil it out and see what it looks
Contract
like.
with some of those at a certain
Yeah.
price
I
rather
mean,
than let them
what-
set their rates.
Would we save? And then going back to Commissioner Johnson's question on the data, UGS does track caseloads and the different types of cases like felonies and misdemeanors, civil cases. I don't know that they track, I have to go look, I don't know that they track expenses of counties for this kind of stuff. They probably track, I'm sure they would have data. I don't know if they compile it, but I'm sure they would have data on, the number of court-appointed, attorneys in a jurisdiction. I'm sure they would be able.
But
to
this
do
is
that.
the budget that we keep talking about, but we don't do anything about it.
We have no
That's-
control over it.
We don't have no control.
We have
over
no
it.
control over
I
it.
know.
No.
And that's, maybe,
This is a
I just
mandate.
was trying to alert the state judicial system so they understand that we don't have any control over it. And is there some way that we can get control over it? I don't think there is, but I mean, we could at least rattle a cage,
Maybe some reimbursement from the state for some of this.
We do receive reimbursement from the state for our court-appointed attorneys annually. Annually, they ask me for a report, how much we pay for public defenders for a 12-month period and how much we paid for court-appointed attorneys for a 12-month period. And we are reimbursed if there's a program through the state that each county is reimbursed. It is not a huge amount, but it
maybe
is
the
revenue.
question should be asked is, what's the formula for that?
I would guess it's based probably on assessed value of the county. That's the way most of those are.
Is it, well, yeah, I can check on it.
I have a
I'd like to- I'd like
file.
to
Yep, we
under-
just submitted the
I'd
report
like to
last week
understand
for the,
understand it.
they go from July 1st through June 30th. We just provided our numbers last week and I'll look in the file.
And there, and
Thank you. That'd be good.
UGS does a few other programs. They, we have the court fees that we collect, but a lot of that goes towards the law library. You have, say that some of the juvenile diversion programs, those are small amounts, but the state's attorney gets some money, some reimbursement for that, but probably not to the level that you're thinking. So, this
Well,
point.
maybe. but
And
we'll
it is
discuss
all
it.
estimated revenue when I prepare the revenue budget. I do include that as estimated revenue to offset our costs, so. The next page is the abused and neglected child defense. We haven't had anything the last couple of years, but we do have to have something in there in case we have a major case. Catastrophic legal fee, that's where this year we budgeted $40,000 and that is not going to be enough. We're going to need to supplement that. I did add a $10,000 to that for next year. Hopefully that's the one you're looking at. If it's not, let me know.
Yeah,
Page
that's right.
16.
Okay, yep, all right.
Predatory animal.
Predatory animal, that is another thing that is set by the legislature that the county is required to pay annually. You can see that amount. I receive something from the state every year telling me what that amount is going to be. That does not fluctuate.
Yeah, it went down this year though.
Did it? Okay. And it is based on, I think it's based on the numbers of livestock in the county, I believe. Or actually, look
Based
at,
on the number of cattle and sheep in each county's.
okay, okay, all right.
So I suppose that has
So-
to do with coyotes with that.
$5,060 is budgeted for there. The county has chosen to do unemployment insurance. We're self-insured. We used to pay into the unemployment insurance program. But because we have such low turnover, a long time ago, we decided to go this route and we budget $10,000 a year. We have not had to supplement that budget in a number of years. And that's for any claims.
Youth at risk.
Okay, youth at risk is another, it's if we have to send a juvenile away to a facility that, where we cannot hold them in our detention center. And I think due to the Boys and Girls Club program, we have not had, last year looks like was one of the bigger years that we have had recently, but prior to that, we had no expense the prior 2 years, so.
Memorial Day.
Memorial Day, we budget $150 a year for the VFW to place markers on the graves of veterans. Waterfowl production, that is a payment in lieu of taxes that we receive from the federal government.
What is it called?
Waterfowl.
Waterfowl production. These are not in the same order as they got sent out to you. They're the same order that's in your book.
I'm searching for that. I'm finding it.
Oh, yeah, it's 617. Okay. Yes, it's a payment in lieu of taxes we receive for the federal government for land in Codington County that is under U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services. It nowhere near makes up the taxes that we are not allowed, that we are not receiving when the property is put into the program, but it is a small reimbursement. We also pay out to whatever township that property is located in. We pay out to those townships and schools.
This comes from federal. This does
Federal
not-
government, yes.
This doesn't cover any game, fish, and parks land.
Nope, U.S. Fish and Wildlife. Domestic abuse, women's resource. We have a fund where the divorce fees and the other fees go into, and we pay that out to the Women's Resource Center quarterly. This is an additional amount that they requested in the last few years, and that is $15,000 a year
That's paid
currently.
to the Beacon Center.
The Beacon Center, I'm sorry, yes.
That's in addition to what we budget.
This is what we budget. This is in addition to the fees that are collected that we pay out
Sure.
through the special fund. Okay. So then the next tab is the nonprofits and non-mandates. The first one is Watertown Transit. It's 169 in your activity number. And there is an explanation sheet there on what they are asking for. I do ask for balance sheets from these companies, and they have requested $35,000 again this year for Watertown Transit.
It's pretty, they do provide a pretty good service for a large area. And I see over the last 5 years, it's been up and down a little bit, but holding very steady.
Yes, there is, they transport a lot of youth during the school year, and then employment is also a big user of the transit for people to get to their jobs. So
Yep.
they
Very,
play a
very, very helpful for a lot of
vital
people.
role.
Well, I think it's very, very useful for the hospital, and the hospital does contribute. They actually pay for all of the rides, don't they, to the
Yes,
To the
medical,
medical
all medical
appointment.
trips are,
medical appointments?
yep, medical appointments are reimbursed by the hospital again this year. That's a year-by-year thing, and they have for the last couple years.
The next nonprofit is activity number 219. It is the Humane Society, and they have requested $15,000 this year. They also have a provision there, a sheet providing explanation for their request. ICAP and community service worker. ICAP just goes up a little small percentage every month. That's for the community service worker. It's $16,352. And then the senior aid companion program has requested $1,500, which they have requested for the last number of years. The next one is activity number 439. It's the Social Services Watertown Volunteer Center. They are once again requesting $2,500 a year. They also have a letter of explanation and a balance sheet. 434. That was
104, 101.
Domestic abuse.
okay. What was the other one that we just looked at?
That one is still the senior companions one.
I thought we already.
We did the senior companions just.
Okay,
Yeah,
we
that
must have
was-
jumped
And then
around.
it was, yep. So
Okay.
then 434 would have been the next one. That was number two.
Okay. All right, which one is next in your?
Well, this was the one that I had next. Okay.
I'm
So we
sorry,
talked
people,
about
it's about
them.
as exciting as watching paint dry, right?
Yeah, it is, but it's,
439, so
okay,
See the numbers up on the screen?
okay.
because we have.
But people are looking at the
I will go
TVs
back
thing.
and look and
Okay.
see what that was.
All right. So, yeah.
Which
So
one are we on now?
we're
101?
Now we are on
Um,
after.
101 is domestic abuse.
No, we're past that. We went to.
101 is the
439.
general fund, so let's,
We were at 439, the next.
what's your
one,
activity number up there? Historic
512.
preservation, okay.
What is it?
512.
512, that is the Compesca Heritage Museum, and they are requesting $8,000, which they have requested in the previous years. And when you look back and see their expenditures, they're more than $8,000, but that's because we are the grant pass-through for them, and we supplement their budget for that amount, so.
Actually, 521 Boys and Girls Club.
Okay. Boys and Girls Club, we contribute $10,000 a year to the club campaign and then $18,500 to the club itself. So it's a total of $28,500. And that is the same as this year's budget.
Remember how many years was that campaign for?
I would have to go back and look. I'm not sure.
5 years, I believe.
Okay.
Normally, these entities would come in and explain or,
And
I could
they
request-
are willing to do so if the board wants them
but
to.
I think with the situation the way it is
Yeah.
with the virus,
Yeah.
that's understanding. We don't.
All right, the next one is activity 529. It's the zoological. It is for the zoo here in Watertown for $20,000. A request accompanied by a balance sheet.
The zoo.
Yes.
Water conservation.
Those are the,
623.
it's activity 623. Those are for the flood monitoring stations that we contract for each year. And we have $12,000 in there. I don't expect the amount will be that high, but just in case anything changes, we add a little bit to that, so.
712.
721 is the Glacial Lakes and Prairies Tourism Center, and they request $750. I believe that's the board that Lee sits on.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, and then activity 729 is Economic Development Focus Watertown, and that amount is $45,000.
What was the activity number of that?
Activity 729.
729, okay.
Now, just on that particular item, that 45,000,
Mhm.
that's in addition to, I call it a TIF, but the reduction in,
The discretionary formula.
yeah,
Yeah,
this is in addition to that.
well, they do not receive anything through that discretionary formula. That is for property owners.
They don't get it.
No, they don't get it. They
It's just
get,
that it's a reduction in their
no,
tax.
nope. I guess we're probably talking about two different
Yeah,
things.
it's two different things. This is Focus Watertown and looking and trying to.
And there's a
promote
cover
Watertown
letter.
For business. What you're talking about is a help for individuals who are planning to open a business for a period of.
Yeah,
5
this is the
years.
amount that we pay Watertown Development. There is a cover letter. that
Right,
Comes with
yeah,
that, so,
yeah.
okay.
I'm okay there.
All right, that is basically,
That's all. And then we'll work on ours. get
yeah, the
that added
commission
in.
budget is still a work in progress, and I have adjusted a couple of the budgets that we have already gone over for the insurance amounts that we're expecting to see increases, so.
Have you got the final word yet from health?
Health, I just received an email today that hopefully our health insurance will get a quote to us by the end of August. I just,
It's gonna go
just,
down
rec-
20%.
Yeah, right.
We can only hope.
so I will be publishing the provisional budget spreadsheet, within the next week to 10 days. And then we hold a budget hearing, public hearing every Tuesday in September that we meet, and we adopt the budget on Tuesday, September 29th.
And just, we will not have a meeting that week of September on the 15th. due to county commissioner convention.
Yep.
So that week.
But we
will
do
not be
intend to
meeting.
meet the 5th Tuesday in September to make up for that.
All right. Anybody else do we have any reason for executive session? Seeing none, I would look for a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Waterman, second by Van Duzen. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
So you will have
Thanks,
vouchers
everyone.
to
So
sign,
everyone, have a
too.
great week.
You too.
You too.